Hello, and welcome to the Undiscovered Decade. It's a podcast that we have here where we look back at the 1990s, 30 years into the past. We dig deep into our souls to try and find what's going on in the world of cinema directly on its 30th anniversary. We have a magical film, a supernatural film, if you will, for August 1995. And we usually have one of us describe the film, which, before we forget, is called Lord of Illusions.
Illusions.
Oh my God. So I am going to share our typical picker wheel. As you'll see, we're still down to three. I wanted to tell you guys before we started doing this. You know that letter that I got from the orphanage that Jimmy was taking care of?
Oh,
It
yeah.
started to, I went back to like check if there was an address that we could find him at, and the letters just started bleeding down the paper and transformed into like a Cyrillic script. I'm not sure if that means anything, if he's in danger, but I had to throw it out. I did not want anything that was in going to endanger the cats or Rebecca, so I tossed it. He'll be fine, I'm sure, right? That's not something to
If
worry
it's
about.
really important, he'll send another bloody letter.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so as you can see, he has his name in there, but we have Jeff and I in parentheses in case it lands on one of us to describe the film. So,
Stunt doubles.
and it looks like it's going to be your regular.
Oh boy.
You still have one left, but technically Jimmy has two left. So if he gets out of whatever mischief he's in,
More wacky hijinks.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So why don't you tell us who the Lord of Illusions is?
I mean, the true Lord of Illusions is behind me, Mr. Joe Bluth. But this is about a false prophet. So basically, this movie's about magic. From legendary horror director Clive Barker, known for Hellraisers. No, Hellraiser, right?
Yeah, Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Candy.
his
I've
main
never
thing.
seen any of those,
He did
but
Candyman too, as
okay.
well, or as well, not the second one.
Um,
Yeah.
so basically, it starts in 1982, and there are these people as part of a cult following this guy who was the principal at some military boarding school, and Malcolm in the Middle was how I recognized him.
Oh, that's funny. We named every other role before you got on.
Right. Played by, hang on, what's his
Daniel von Bargen.
Daniel von Bargen. Um, Playing this character named Nix, who's just, some guy who meddled with the wrong magic and is just, playing God, but seeing too much of the universe. And he's trying to bait one of his proteges into joining the dark side. And so he kidnaps some girl to get him to come there, a guy by the name of Swann. And then, everybody's trying to fight him off, fight off the cult. Nix gets his hands literally into Swann's brain, making him see the magic.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's a way to
Little existence.
it's a very Barker way to transfer magical power, real body horror stuff. But then Swann ends up killing Nix, like putting some sort of weird saw mask on him, and they bury him in an unmarked grave. Until 13 years later, when Swann has made a name for himself as, a
Chris
high-end
Angel.
illusionist.
Yeah,
because
Chris
he
Angel.
yeah, he's basically Chris Angel, but he's literally just doing the magic and calling it illusion because it's
Ooh.
more lucrative, because tricks are what a whore does for money. But
Yeah.
um another Arrested Development reference. But the one day you'll watch that show and you'll finally get all this.
You'll never know.
Anyway, so he's just like, he seems very bored with his life, and so he's just like,
Yeah.
and now he's the girl who was originally kidnapped grows up to be Famke Janssen and also his wife, and
Pretty
it's kind
great.
of, that
Yeah,
part's a
that's
little like
questionable.
there's
Yeah,
a
you
little bit
rescued
of
a
like,
girl and
there
then
was still
married
a
her
cult
13 years
yeah, it
later.
was
Philip.
very, the cult. You can take the guy out of the cult, but you can't take the cult out of the guy,
Yeah.
But he got drawn
Um,
to be such a sympathetic character towards the end anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's never questioned. It's fine.
no, it's just is what it is. So then he's having another giant show, and he's just bored with all the fame. And so he's like, I'm debuting a new illusion tonight, and it's literally just knives dangling from a chandelier
Yeah, woo.
or swords. And he's supposed to like unlock himself as it's going, and then something goes wrong horribly, and it's just swords all over his body. Now, prior to all this,
Oh
Scott
boy.
Bakula was
Oh,
private eye,
right. The main
right?
character of
The
the
main,
movie.
right? Scott Bakula was a private eye in New York who's just like, I need you to follow. So someone hired him to follow this guy Swann, and
Oh
no,
no, he didn't even go for Swan. He went
no,
for someone else.
yeah, he went for someone
Yeah.
else,
And then he stumbles into this whole mess. So,
He's a good guy in a bad situation.
right?
yeah.
But it's a good. I think the concept's funny because just from like a random private eye, like he's hired to investigate someone, and then he stumbles upon a murder or what he thinks is a murder, and then it's literally just actual magic.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what they were going for. But I do agree that like there are some things that sort of just happen.
Well, there are contrivances. It's a horror movie.
Well, because he's
That's fine. Yeah.
well, the thing about Clive Barker and like it being boring is he has like calm horror, if that makes sense. Like all the Hellraiser things are just like they're just
Supposed to be
calmly
creepy.
talking. They're just like let's just be creepy. And so that's what this is. It's not like there's no chases, there's no like any jump scares, someone creeping out of a corner and getting stabbed or whatever. The other thing, Swan had an assistant, right? And this assistant also presumably had like some sort of involvement with the supernatural.
Mm.
And he's chasing him and chasing him and chasing him. And then like literally the thing that kills him is he like punches a wall and happens to punch an electrical outlet. And that's what kills him. And then
Yeah.
there happens to be a hole in the floor that someone else falls into.
Right.
Mm.
And it's like all of these things that are just sort of like, oh, well, the movie's gone on long enough. We need to kill these people.
Yeah.
And Scott Bakula's like just Inspector Gadgeting his whole way through, or Mr. Magooing his whole way through.
Yeah. He's not that effective in this
But
situation.
there is like a weird subplot where it's just like it's hinted at that he's also got some sort of magical thing going on. Like I see he gets his palm read by a dying fortune teller, and he's like, I see darkness in you.
Yeah.
And Scott's like,
Let's
no,
explore that.
don't do that. And then
Yeah,
it never
let's do
comes up
that.
again until like Nix gets his fingers in his head. And
But you
that's
know
like,
what? There's a director's cut where they go into stuff like that.
I
Why didn't
imagine
we
there
see
is.
that? Where was
But
that?
Tristan,
I have it. If you got the Blu-ray, it's on there.
listen,
You never mentioned it.
Tristan gets too bored. He wouldn't make it through the director's cut.
I don't get bored. I just need someone else next to me to watch a movie so that I'll focus.
Oh.
So I've been a lot worse this year.
To hit you in the ribs when you're falling asleep.
Yeah, or like picking up my phone. I have to
Man.
put my phone in the other room. So it's not the movie's fault. It's never the movie's fault. But my
It's
my
okay if you're bored by the movie.
my attention span has been shot these last 5 years. Yeah, I didn't want to necessarily I don't think this is a bad film. I want to call it out for its pacing is about it because it has a lot of good ideas. Like Nix as a character is a great idea. Having the PI placed in a supernatural situation is a good idea, but explore it more. Like you said, he has the palm read and there's a darkness in him. The newspaper hints that he did an exorcism. They just have a flash to it, like a non sequitur. Why not actually show him involved, like a Constantine? I don't know. There's got to be another version of this kind of thing. Like what happens in the director's cut that makes it quote more
I haven't seen it in
seamless.
a long time, but they go more into his backstory. Like
That's what I wanted.
him and the guy who hires him have a long conversation.
It seems like a reverse Constantine where they called the least qualified individual just to be like, hey man, there are these rumors that you
Well,
did some
it's
exorcist
weird
stuff.
because in this cut, as opposed to that cut, they go into more of like the Thomas Harris kind of stuff where he's like they're cut from the same cloth in a way, which is
Him and Swan.
ties back to the palm being red. I think it also is a problem. I love the movie, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
I think that it's a problem with Bakula's performance is a bit too passive.
Right.
So that when crazy things are happening, and believe me, the special effects are pretty dated now.
Sure. The polygons floating at him.
Yeah, he doesn't really react in a way that would suggest that he's in a sense of wonderment.
Sure. Yeah, I don't want to say, oh, he's a TV actor, but I think while he might look the part, he's not necessarily the reactive actor you needed. Like, I think he's not,
Right.
he might even be fit for a PI in a different type of film.
They did a similar type of movie, and I didn't see it. It's called Cast a Deadly Spell, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that a couple of years
With
ago.
Fred Ward seems like he'd be perfect for something like this.
He's fantastic. Put that actor and character in this film. ratchets the tension up like 8 to 10 instead of 4 to 10.
I mean, Fred Ward of Naked Gun 2.5 fame.
Yes, and
33
No,
Tremors.
he's 33 and a third. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
I thought Kevin J. O'Connor was really good. He usually plays the Weasley type in this, and at first you think he's going to be kind of heroic,
Yeah.
but once he starts selling out and profiteering off of the magic that he's learned, you're like, oh, this is the typical Kevin J. O'Connor role.
Yeah.
I like how they play off that. And I thought when he's resurrected,
Nix.
on Bargen,
Nix.
Nix, yeah, is chilling. I think he's fantastic. I like the makeup a lot. Kind of makes him look like a voodoo doctor because they put this. It's
The
like
makeup is good in a lot of the creatures.
turn your head over. You can.
yeah. See? Because they put kind of like an Iron Maiden type mask on him that makes so his flesh is kind of like desiccated underneath. It's good.
Yeah, the makeup effects are cool.
But like I said, some of the special effects are badly dated.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, the polygons floating, like I mentioned, isn't the best, but some of them, like warping, isn't the worst.
yeah, like towards the beginning, like he's given when he initially puts the power inside of Swan.
Yeah,
Uh,
the finger stuff is cool.
yeah, that and when
That
he's
looks
like,
more
see where your friends look like, and they start to like
melt.
slice into creatures.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that stuff looked good.
Yeah, that's fine. And the
Not
melting
like
into the
Ramona
head,
being bad.
that looked practical
Yeah,
too. Like they made a fake Kevin J. O'Connor head or whatever. I thought all the performances were good. That's the thing. I don't want you to get the idea that I didn't like this film as well. I just think the pacing could have been tightened up. And it's not even like my attention span. I just think like I wanted something that connected us to our hero because I'm always thinking of how to improve a film if I start to like lose the thread.
yeah,
And I liked the idea of him stumbling onto it, but it could have been like if they're trying to set up that he is sort of on the illusionist path himself, maybe he at least knows of Swan rather than just like, oh, what is all this? Because it seemed like he might know that I keep forgetting Valentin is his name, I think, the
Yeah.
assistant. So I thought maybe that would have been interesting. Like he doesn't know the main thing. He just knows a guy who's also involved. Because then it could have given you the red herring that Valentin was involved with the cult himself and actually evil. Because I thought that might be a path they went down. But they don't. He's just also there and gets attacked and sort of helps when Famke Janssen is in trouble. But Valentin's character is almost superfluous because of I don't know what reason. It's just I thought that could have helped focus it, that particular character. It would have helped the pacing, and despite his performance being fine, the actor playing Valentin really had nothing to do.
Right. No, I was getting
So
Valentin confused with the guy who was actually in the cult, the one that actually
the
like,
henchman Butterfield.
yeah, Butterfield. Very
So
henchman-like name.
liked that character a lot. His performance might have been my favorite one because he's slimy. You don't know what he'll do. He does kill people, so you have stakes.
He
Like,
dresses in tight leather, so you know he's a freak.
yeah,
well, Clive Barker's really in this S&M and
No, I
bondage.
know. That's how you know.
yeah,
Like that's how you know that guy's going to be important later.
right. He's not gonna fall out
Dressed
the
in
window.
crushed velvet and a leather vest.
Right. Speaking of interesting costumes and displays, one of my favorite things is that an art director or at least the art team had to make a giant Kevin J. O'Connor for that marquee, like
Yeah.
Swan doing the magic show. That was, I just want to see the people making a giant Kevin J. O'Connor.
Or the concrete Kevin J. O'Connor.
Right. I did like a lot of the art design too, like the sets, the cult den. I liked the touch during Swan's funeral that there's a swan on top of his hearse. That was funny. I thought there could be a lighthearted touch to it that wasn't necessarily there in the script too. Like it's campy, but it's not like they don't necessarily find the humor. There's when they visit the magic castle, they kind of have this sparring of words, him and the lead magician played by Vincent Schiavelli. There's some humor there, but it's kind of dry. So I thought maybe there's something missing there that could have been injected into the film as well. I don't know. It felt like, maybe because Kevin J. O'Connor's in it, it reminded me of The Mummy. They're resurrecting an undead creature, like stuff like that. So maybe there could have been that sort of like repartee that Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz have. So what could have been added to this to make it, hit with audiences? I basically what I'm also trying to say is I understand why it didn't really catch on. Like I feel like there's one or two elements missing that could have made this an actual hit, like instead of a cult classic.
Right.
Well, perhaps if they had actually gone with Christopher Reeve instead of Scott Bakula.
Well, he was a little busy having just become paralyzed. So
That was that the reason that they.
that was May. We talked about that because he had like a TV movie that was his last thing and it came out after he got hurt. I don't know if
Yeah,
we talked
as
about
it
it on
says,
mic during one of our episodes or just around when it happened.
according to the trivia, he was offered it but then turned it down. And maybe
Hmm.
that's why. No reason was given, but
Well,
the
Then he went and
timeline
did.
matches up.
this was surely filmed before it, but still,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, he did that horrible remake of Village of the Damned.
that was also one of the last things he did. So maybe he didn't want to get stuck in horror or anything.
Yeah. I agree that for supposedly being the main character, Harry did not seem as connected to the rest of the story. He just sort of like bumbled through and, immediately sleeping with the allegedly dead guy's wife.
Oh, right.
That was the other thing. That was just like, this seems very unprofessional.
He's an alcoholic and a cad.
Oh, I guess so.
It was
Sure.
a,
Didn't
Well,
really
he's
it's,
present
drinking the
that.
first scene you see him in.
I
Sure.
like the whole supernatural noir thing. I just think that, to your point, there could have been more of a connection between him and everything else.
Though
And
then
it sounds like they may have gone into that in the director's cut. So
I wonder if that's always necessary because we always see that, or we don't always see it. We sometimes see that in films and complain that it's too connected. Oh, of course they're connected to this story. Like, which one do I want? You know,
Yeah, like
like when they
Blade
don't
Runner,
have it, they should. When they do, they shouldn't. What?
like in Blade Runner 2049, you think that Ryan Gosling is going to be connected, and they completely subvert your expectations. Like, no, he has nothing to do with this.
Right. I don't even want him to be like the main subject. Like it is fine that Swann is the main focus of Nix because he was part of the cult. He's the
Right.
one that will work. I liked that he notices Demore also has something supernatural. So I thought the level of connection was getting there towards the end. But I thought there could have been like one or two more lines. Maybe that's all I needed, where
Sure.
he's like really intrigued by it. Maybe that's partly Scott Bakula's performance. Who knows? I did want to say about the hooking up with Famke. It felt kind of shoehorned in because that came out of nowhere. Not to say they didn't necessarily have chemistry, but it's like you're investigating her dead husband and you're like, I don't know what I could do for you unless we make out. Because then he's too, like, everyone's like, yeah, she's with him now.
well, it was probably
How do
like
you feel?
Clive was really getting into the body horror stuff, and then the producer's just like, we got to get a kissing scene in here somewhere.
Yeah,
People are
maybe
gonna
they
do.
were
It's a date night movie. There's got to be some sort of sex scene. He's like, all right,
Well,
fine, whatever.
a heterosexual sex scene too. They
Yeah,
needed to make sure.
right. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what was going on with Nix and his assistant, but it's implied that they're lovers.
Right.
We
Which
were
I
supposed to be together forever.
I
Hmm.
don't necessarily want to speak on the fact that they're evil, but Clive Barker is gay, and so I'm sure he wanted to have some sort of homosexual romance in there. That would be fine.
Right.
So it's just you don't want to have it be like a cult-based romance, which again Swan has with his wife anyway. So I don't know. It would have been nice to have like a healthy homosexual romance in here as well.
It
Yeah.
Boy
wasn't
meets
as of
school. Boy loses school. Boy resurrects school 13 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tries to take over the world.
The film is about Butterfield more than anyone else, if you think about it.
Yeah, it was very much an ensemble piece, I think. That was kind of because you have like Butterfield has his own thing going on, Swan has his own thing going on, and Harry has his own thing.
Yeah. The thing about Harry D'Amour, though, is that Clive Barker expected to be able to make more films with him, and obviously ended up with an actor that didn't quite fit and a box office that didn't quite allow him to further explore this character on in cinema. I think this would have made a good TV show, but this wasn't the sort of thing that was coming out then. He missed Buffy by like a year. If he waited maybe till 98, who knows what would have happened? But
It surprised me how for as gory as these movies are, like Bakula's the extent of his like I've just been attacked by a god makeup was, oh, there's some blood running down my face.
yeah,
Like, did he have something in his contract that they're not allowed to like mess up his face? Because
interesting. Yeah.
he just seemed kind of.
He's a little prissy, maybe.
Yeah, that makes the film seem a little hypocritical about his
It was
makeup
a
usage.
it was a half measure, I think. But I don't know. It was enjoyable, even though I watched it on Tubi and had commercials every 12 seconds.
I know, yeah.
That's why
Tubi
it took
isn't the
me two
best
and a half
place
hours
to.
to get through.
I know. Maybe that's what it was with my focus. The commercials kept coming on, so then I'd leave the room. That's probably what it was.
And we live in the future where commercial breaks are determined by AI algorithms, so it's
Uh-huh.
always at the weirdest time.
Yeah.
Like right after the two of them start making out. It cuts to commercial. I'm like, what am I? What?
I really I know you're saying they didn't explore the themes as richly as you'd like, but I like that they even broach them because most horror movies, especially back then, were like we're getting into the teen horror cycle, which were not thought-provoking at all. At least with this movie, I felt like it was evoking some subtext, which is more than I could ask for most horror movies. Sometimes I think Clive Barker, to his detriment, is such a good writer that maybe he writes too much and then it's got to get whittled down in the edit.
I bet that's
Might be too ambitious because there's stuff in like when you watch the original Hellraiser, you almost forget that about that love affair that's at the center of it.
hmm,
You have to think about the Cenobites, or that's what's mostly promoted with that movie.
right. That's why Pinhead becomes the centerpiece for the rest of the sequels.
Right. And you forget like that's not the main point of the movie.
Yeah. To your point, what would be an example of the horror that we were veering into, like a Scream, that sort of thing?
Yeah, like I know we
Yeah.
did last, like all the Kevin Williamson
Right.
knockoffs that were happening around that time.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I think the world needed something like this, but maybe it was just a little too early. I do like his ideas. I wish he had more on-screen examples, but a lot of it ended up in comics. So that's kind of cool to go out and try to find Clive Barker books and comics, you know? Like the
Yeah.
Harry D'Amour character is out there in a lot of other media, but not something we'll cover. So
Right.
one thing that I had in a note was for the whole movie, it kept bugging me who I thought Butterfield looked like, but I finally caught it towards the end. He reminds me of Peter Sarsgaard, like just the way his
Yeah.
face looks, that actor.
Mm.
Uh, there was one thing we didn't mention. He goes to visit, Harry D'Amour visits another cult member who's ended up in a sanitarium. The makeup on that death scene and the amount to which the woman is under the car she runs out in front of is kind of wild. Like just kind of disjointed how stuff is set up. I think despite himself, Clive Barker could direct something well. I just think maybe
Nightbreed's real good.
like you said, maybe he has too many ideas and he has to be reined in, you know?
Right.
Anything else about the director's cut that you can think of that might have been
It's been a while since I watched it, but
sure? Did you rewatch it for our episode?
no, because I figured we were going to be talking about the theatrical cut.
You didn't tell us there was a director's cut. I would have tried to find it.
I don't know where you would have found it unless you had the disc.
Okay.
Shout Factory put out a really good special edition of this years ago.
Okay. So, do you remember anything else?
No, I do remember there was more to do with Harry, which is the main complaint that you had. They go into his backstory a lot more.
Hmm. Anything more about
There's more
Nix?
about Juan's connection to the cult.
Okay. So you see
Oh,
Dorothea.
like I said, they color more of the background details, which I'm sure the producers were like, horror fans aren't going to care about any of this, unfortunately.
Yeah. I bet I would have liked it even more. Like I would give this a
I,
pretty good grade. I just don't think it's a perfect film, you know? Like it's not going to get an A from me, but I had always wanted to see this because I'm a big fan of Scott Bakula from Quantum Leap, but like we're sort of implying he might have fit better in something like NCIS New Orleans or Star Trek Enterprise, like a steady presence that isn't necessarily going to have wild reactions to anything.
like he's really good as one of the straight men agents in The Informant,
Or part of the gay couple in American Beauty.
or even in Behind the Candelabra. Like he's good as a character actor. Like,
Yeah, like a supporting piece that makes
yeah.
the film better.
Mhm.
Or if he's a leading man, he's, like I said, steady presence, the captain of a team, you
Right.
know? Even in Quantum Leap, he's technically the captain of the team that's trying to find time travel.
I wish Dean Stockwell was the one that hired him in this.
I started thinking about if Dean Stockwell had played Harry D'Amour, he would have been good. Like if this had come out in the 70s. Because
Or
he's
even
in a,
Nick
yeah, he could have been Nix. Yeah, that would have been cool. I think Daniel von Bargen did a good job as Nix.
did do a really good
He's got a
job.
commanding voice.
And they put some reverb in his voice later on when he's resurrected too. That
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, here's one thing I wanted to ask you guys about. What did you think of the cultists? The one thing that I thought was funny is that they don't look like they aged at all in 13 years, but the getting trapped in the floor is a really interesting idea. Like I
I,
like
lo I
that.
love the imagery of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting
Again, that's
stuck in the
production
concrete.
design, but
Yeah, it's great.
yeah,
Let's make the
and
floor quicksand and then not.
yeah.
Like a macabre Bo Welsh came in there and did the production design.
Well, I've seen that in art pieces that are of hell. Like that's a depiction of what could happen in I think it was who's the Greek character that goes down to hell and comes
Dante?
back. There's the character that goes to try and win his love back, Persephone from Hades, and he isn't supposed to look behind him. I've seen paintings where there's like arms coming out of the floor and like you're stepping on the faces of people that have been stuck in purgatory. There's stuff like that in something I've seen.
You're not talking about Orpheus?
Yeah, Orpheus, thank you. Yeah, I just couldn't think of his name, but I've seen something either in like a cartoon or an a painting. I thought that was he's obviously got inspiration from past art to make his work,
Right.
Clive Barker. So I think he's a very good designer, and I think maybe if he let someone else like take the wheel to drive the film, maybe he could be the producer, the writer, the designer. But
Right.
I think he wants to do everything himself, and that's where they can't rein him in per se. Overall, I did actually like the film. I just am critical of stuff like this. I know I keep saying things. It's because I want to improve it. I
Yeah.
think there's something that I found as
What
we
you're
look
saying is
back
you
on
want to
films.
you got a reboot in your in mind.
I was like, oh, a character that hasn't been lo beloved by audiences, but is has plenty of background IP that you could adapt. That sounds fun. But I wanted to say the one thing I've noticed about the 90s in particular, as we look back at it, is that there's a lot of cult classics that could have been better if they were just tightened up. There's a lot of people that are like, yeah, it's fine. Let's just put it out in theaters. So a lot of films that we're looking at are hidden gems because they're good despite those flaws, but sometimes those flaws still pervade, like in this
Well,
particular instance.
there are two, possibly three factors with all that. Was one, a lot of these, the things that maintain cult status are like lower budget, more or less independent because not that many people were marketing heavy, gory horror things. So you had like three smaller distributors who were like, yeah, sure, let's do it, but like this is how much you get. Or they had to like rush things because with the technology of the time back then, especially if they're trying to do all these crazy effects. There was something with the monkey that was in the cult scene in the beginning that were supposed to like shoot it and whatnot, but they couldn't. They had
Oh
like a
yeah,
stunt one that they were working on, or like a puppet version that would look like when it was gory that they couldn't get to work, so they scrapped that whole thing. And
right.
it's like there's
Ran
just
out of time.
yeah, they ran out of time. And the other thing is there's a lot of fucking drugs involved in these in the production of these movies, I imagine.
Clive Barker, sure.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so probably, you know,
See,
it finds its audience, and its
this
audience
is
might not have been it's not going to be a $1 billion franchise overnight,
right.
but it finds its audience.
See, this is the sort of thing, though, that I love context to a film. Like, I love when a film goes off the rails but still works anyway. I think knowing about that makes me like this better. Knowing that there's a director's cut with the stuff I literally wanted makes me like the film better. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want to hate it for its flaws, but I do want to point them out at the very
Yeah,
least. I want to talk about its good things and its bad things. So that's why I was about to give it like a B.
because
You
I
know,
imagine
it's
the director's cut's unrated, right?
okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is they can't release an NC-17 releases are commercial suicide if you're trying to make any money off of anything.
Yeah, to your point with the NC-17, like an unrated thing, they have the shot of the person that Damore is tracking in the beginning, and he's with two maybe hookers or something, and their like
Yeah.
tits are out. That might not play for families, so automatically you're already in R territory to
Well,
be
he was
for
he
one shot.
It's
So
not this
he
is
was
not
naked,
going to go on
so
the Easter Sunday movie list.
right. So it's like those are the sort of things that I want to be like punches that I want not to be pulled. I want those shots in this film. So it
Mhm.
felt like there were budget concerns and rating concerns while filming. So it must mostly be the editing, though, from what I'm understanding. So I think the director's cut is probably what you want to see, is the point I'm taking away from this.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe I'll go back and revisit this in a year or two. I'll ask you for your copy.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe by the end of the year too, so I can put it in the list. You know?
There you go.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so I would give it a B nonetheless. Like I like
Okay.
the idea of this. I have liked Clive Barker's writing for sure.
I'm gonna go B plus. I like the world that he builds, that he conjures in this. It's beautifully phantasmagorical. Like I said, the only blemish on the film for me is I think Bakula's a little too passive. And I don't know if that's to do with the casting or the edit, but I'd like to honestly, you said there's more media with this character. I'd like to read more of that. Further
Couple of
investigate
books.
more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably going to go B minus.
I ended up liking it more than you. That's
Yeah.
funny.
I
Isn't that
mean,
crazy?
well,
Yeah.
no, I liked it. I thought it was a fun frolic through some fucked up shit, but it was also there were some plot things that were just they just sort of fell into place in a way that it didn't pay off well. Like that's all.
You know what I wanted to explore? The Magic Castle. I thought that was a really interesting place to like focus on, but it was just kind of a piece of the film rather than the centerpiece.
Yeah.
Right.
That would have been cool if like that was his lair, because that's a real place in
Yeah.
LA that magicians have made their home. Like Cary Grant wanted to form a group of magicians that could have like a mansion that you could visit. You go there, you have to say a code into an owl to get in. It's kind of neat. Neil Patrick Harris has been a
That sounds
president.
like Bohemian Grove.
What's that?
That's where those all the elites go and do the
Okay. Okay.
sacrificial things,
Oh, is that real?
That's what they say.
Well, the other thing is because I imagine because the Magic Castle is a real place and it is held with such gravitas, like I
Sure.
imagine it's a lot like filming in a church. Like, yeah, you can film in the lobby, but that's it. You're not allowed in the sanctuary.
Right. I wonder how much was filmed inside, or it was just the exterior, so you knew you were there.
Yeah, I feel like there was probably in the exterior, and there may be like an offshoot room because they know movies want to do stuff there, but it's just
Sure.
like the boardroom scene, and that's it.
Yeah, I guess
Or they
that
like build a set.
that Billy character that kind of disappears comes to meet him in the audience room. So I bet that's a place you can film in.
Yeah, everything else is locked doors. You got to be in, man. Like this guy. We demand to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, there was other magic being conjured at the box office this month.
Yeah?
Yeah, by Jerry Bruckheimer doing something outside of his usual repertoire, which is an inspirational teacher movie. Dangerous Minds came out this month. Not my favorite inspirational teacher movie. In fact, this is one of my least favorite genres. I don't even like Dead Poet Society. But this felt obligatory at the very least. Like this also, I know it's based on a true story, but the fact that she isn't like physically assaulted or like sexually assaulted is kind of a mystery because they try to explain that she's got Navy SEALs or like Navy training, so that's why she's not like taken advantage of while she's there. Michelle Pfeiffer's character working in the inner city, but I
What
don't buy it.
what movie is this?
Dangerous Minds,
Dangerous
the
Minds.
classic like teacher helps the inner city kids learn about life.
Yeah,
Lean on me or
Resident or Renaissance Man, one of your
yeah,
favorites.
exactly. Yeah. Why would
Yeah.
you think she'd be taken just because she's a woman?
Just because she's a willowy woman, I don't buy it that she didn't. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe that's sexist to say.
Maybe you have a dangerous mind.
Maybe. But I'm like, I don't think these mines are that dangerous, actually. Nothing really bad happens to her.
Yeah, because the inner city isn't as bad as you think it is. That's the point.
So what's the point of the movie?
This is a longer discussion.
Anyway, don't like the movie. Think it's awful.
Okay.
Made a
That's
lot of money.
it's probably fine. Do you think it's dated? Because that's what I'm betting.
It is dated because also there's a lot. So this is what I am offended by in the movie. There's a lot of ethnic stereotypes in the movie,
That's
which
what I was
play with.
implying by the longer discussion.
Right. So the Hispanics are the stupid ones in the school. And again, maybe the demographic within that school was made up of mostly that, but the way it's portrayed in the movie, you're either of two categories. You're underprivileged gangbangers or you're just illiterate. There's no in between. There's no nuance in any of the movie.
Yeah. Did you know what the title of the book this is based off of is called?
Yeah, My Posse Don't Do Homework, which also not a great title.
Yeah. My
Maybe
dad
a
is a
spin-off of this.
yeah, I was about to say my dad's a big fan of Annie Potts, so I actually watched the first two or three episodes of the TV show.
Oh yeah, how was it?
And we were done after two or three episodes.
Well, wait, it only lasted one season.
Yeah, we didn't care. It wasn't really going anywhere. Like you said, it's not really a great premise. Like white savior comes and helps the inner city kids.
That's another thing that's kind of condescending about the movie.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Okay. I was curious if you would actually like this because this was super popular at the time.
I don't like this genre at all.
Yeah.
But Edward Burns' directorial debut came out, which was The Brothers McMullen. Have you
hmm
you seen it?
Unfortunately, no. I've had it for about 10 years. I borrowed it from an old friend who's since passed away, and I have not gotten to it.
Oh, okay. It's a very verbose. He's like doing a riff on Woody Allen. but with Irish heritage. It probably shoots at the same locations in New York, I would assume. But it's also it's very dialogue driven. I don't think the dialogue's as good as Woody's dialogue, but then in fact it gets a little repetitive after a certain while, where they're just
Mm.
talking about fear of commitment with men, monogamy, stuff like that. It's like a bantamweight debut. It's not got a lot of weight to it.
What would you say is the best Edward Burns film?
Directorial movie or just movie in general?
Directorial movie, I guess.
Sidewalks in New York's pretty good.
Yeah. That was where everyone was like, he's the next Woody Allen. This is it.
Right.
So I get that.
They are doing a sequel called The Family McMullen, which they just filmed actually.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
They just started filming in New York back in April.
Okay.
So it should be coming out next year for the 31st anniversary. Who knows?
Sure.
A movie I'm sure that maybe you've seen. I don't know if Jeff has seen, but probably one of the first video game adaptations to come out. And actually, I rewatched it thinking it was campy garbage, and it's actually a lot of fun. And it's the best movie that Paul W.S. Anderson's ever done,
It's
which
true.
is Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yes.
It actually holds up pretty well.
Did you watch this with us when we all watched it? This was one of the Thursday night movies.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was practical effects too. That's why it holds up.
Some of it, yeah, Goro is completely a puppet.
I
Yeah.
know. I've seen the Goro puppet.
Yeah, and it's good looking. Some of the makeup's not great. Like the Kano mask looks pretty cheap.
It's okay.
That's fine though.
Yeah.
Again, drugs.
But the Sub-Zero versus Scorpion fight's a lot of fun.
It's great. Yeah.
This movie's way better than it has any right to be, and it has a sneaky tongue-in-cheek humor about itself. The only person that doesn't land laughs when they're trying is Christopher Lambert. I think he's miscast as Raiden,
That's
but
true.
he's like the worst part of the movie.
Well, that's why he's barely in the sequel.
He's not. It's not
Oh,
even
right.
him.
It's Dexter's
He's
dad.
Remar,
Yeah.
who we
Yeah.
met
Yeah. Yeah.
the comic
Yeah.
Oh
book.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They totally recast him because it was kind of a waste.
What's that?
How do you feel about the new one coming out?
I think that Carl Urban's miscast. He's too old.
Interesting.
Also, you want somebody kind of blonde, kind of brash. Honestly, if they had just gotten who's been doing the voice for the past few animated movies, which is Joel McHale, and just put him in there, he'd be perfect.
Who's a similar age to Carl Urban, actually.
Yeah. I thought he was older.
He looks younger though.
He does. I also had always thought,
Joel McHale's been doing the voice of Johnny Cage.
yes, he has.
Yeah, yes.
I might need to start picking up the more.
I have the first one he did. We should watch that. Scorpion's Revenge, I think, is the one
Yeah.
I own.
There's one Cage match, which was just centered around Johnny Cage.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one, but I have traditionally hated Johnny Cage, but I actually think Carl Urban looks fun in this. I don't know. I've always liked him. I always thought it should be James Marsden, right? Is that his name? Cyclops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see.
He looks like Johnny Cage.
One of the Chris's.
Yeah, Chris Pine could play this.
Evans, Pine.
I was just glad they didn't go with Ryan Reynolds, which was the rumor.
Oof, yeah.
Yikes.
Well, he's already been a guy in a video game.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, so is Carl Urban. But
That's true. Yeah.
Carl Urban was in the Doom movie.
Forgot about that.
He
Yeah.
sure was.
See, that's when video game adaptations were going downhill.
Yeah. I'm fine. I still like this original. I liked the reboot a couple of years ago, but I think they're really solidifying what they want. And so when you have a
It's an actual
focus,
tournament in this one.
yeah,
Can you imagine?
yeah,
But
okay.
no, this first one's taut and fun, and it's like it's the only thing Paul W.S. Anderson's done that he hasn't tainted.
Right.
So the next movie that came out, did you know that Keanu Reeves did a old-fashioned romance
I did, but I don't think Jeff
called
did.
A Walk in the Clouds, which is a underrated gem, actually. We should have talked about that
Should have
instead.
done that. Yeah.
Yeah. This one's actually really good, and he gives a great performance. People who say he's wooden haven't seen enough of his earlier stuff. Like nowadays, he's bordering on self-parody a bit with his delivery, but back then he's a very expressive, demonstrative actor, and he's a great romantic lead in this. And it's got one of those really good like Douglas Sirk premises to it, which is he's like coming back from war. He meets this woman on a bus who's going to back to her family's vineyard to let them know that she's pregnant. Unfortunately, the man who impregnated her ran off. So he volunteers to pretend to be her husband. And then
Okay.
start to swoon for one another.
Yeah.
There's a
It
couple of
sounds nice.
Yeah, there's a couple scenes that border on like melodramatic, but you go into a movie like this knowing that, but it has a very sweet under.
I think as long as the melodrama doesn't veer into situational comedy, that's
No,
when
it's
you get something like,
not.
yeah, that ends up cheap, you know?
Yeah,
It also feels like A Walk in the Clouds was an early working title for The Matrix before this.
we can't use that again.
Oh, he's wearing a fedora.
Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a farmer, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Well, at a certain point, yeah, he's got
Is this
stomp
just
and everything.
is
Well,
this
that's
just
what Anthony Quinn was doing.
is
Anthony
this
Quinn's great in the movie.
the Gone with the Wind remake that everyone was talking about?
Mm. Frankly, dear, I don't give a damn.
I'll give a hoot.
Frankly, my dear, this is not most excellent. Anyway, Keanu Reeves is a
Uh,
national treasure.
Speaking of national treasures, a movie that's beloved by a whole generation, Babe. Do you guys remember Babe, the talking pig movie?
I do.
That'll do.
Still the most quoted line in the history of cinema.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Holds up great. Rewatched it for this. Really good movie. Again, a movie that threatens to be very treacly, but is actually whimsical.
Treacly, whimsical. What did you just like get back from Britain here? What the fuck?
Well, what's wrong with that?
It feels British, doesn't
It
it?
was. Yeah,
So,
wasn't
is
Oh,
it
what, the movie
British?
itself?
wasn't it based on it wasn't like a Roald Dahl thing, wasn't it?
Well, it ripped off Gordy, we learned a couple
I was just
episodes
saying,
ago.
it has like a touch of Orwell with Animal Farm, I feel like, but
Well, that's just because it's a pig. Charlotte's Web and all.
I was gonna say it's adapted by George Miller, and George Miller, I think, directed the sequel.
Yeah.
But James Cromwell is great as the farmer.
Really
Oscar
like Mad
nominated.
Max, George Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the voice cast is great. I always remembered Hugo Weaving really standing out.
Yeah, he was great. He was my favorite.
Also, they do a good job of integrating the puppets with the actual animals. Like a lot of the ducks are puppets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
And it's weird. I feel like we've regressed in terms of special effects because when they superimpose the mouths onto the animals, it looks seamless.
It really does.
Now it looks terrible when they do it.
Like it is easier, but it is, and it looks just good enough. But it doesn't look as good as Babe, ironically.
Yeah, a movie that's 30 years old.
Speaking of voice actors in this, I wanted to point out this is one of Christine Cavanaugh's iconic roles. She
Mhm.
was one of the greats from the 90s. Played Chucky in Rugrats, Gosling in Darkwing Duck, but Babe is her
He was
highest
Dexter in
performance.
Dexter's Lab.
Yep, yep, yeah.
Before they
It's
were getting like A-listers to do the voices for everything.
right.
Like everybody was perfectly cast in this. A lot of character actors.
Lucy Taylor.
Miriam Margolyes, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, my grandparents had just gotten border collies, so when we watched this, we were real into the fact that like there was a dynamic between the pig and the dog. So this was a big favorite in the Moore household.
But
I haven't seen this in a long time.
you should watch it again.
Yeah.
But my favorite movie of the month.
Oh, this wasn't number one.
No, this is my favorite movie. And,
Oh, okay.
I know it's not gonna play as well for other people, but
That's
it's just,
okay.
I saw it as a kid and it made a huge impression on me. It's actually one of my favorite villain roles ever. Virtuosity. Russell Crowe is phenomenal in this as the villain. Speaking of AI, he's an AI program that they use to train police officers in this movie, and he gets brought into the real world. And he's a composite of a bunch of different serial killers. So he quips a lot. He's sadistic. He's a lot of fun in the movie. And he's going up against Denzel Washington, who's like the epitome of stoic.
ChatGPT, can you give me Ed Gain?
Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you.
Abort, abort, abort.
And if you haven't seen this movie, do yourself a favor, check this out. It's a lot of fun.
I've wanted to.
Not to plug it again, but Vinegar Syndrome put out a beautiful restoration of that. But that guy, Brett Leonard, who I referred to with Lawnmower Man,
Mm.
he seems to only do movies that have elaborate special effects on them because he did this, he did Lawnmower Man, he also did Hideaway, which comes up. I think either we talked about or it was coming up.
It already came up, yeah.
But this is his crown jewel. This is the best thing he's done.
Cool. Yeah. I'm glad you liked it. I was worried this was
I
a
love
sort of bad campy classic too.
It might be, but you know what? I got a soft spot for it. It's a
Yeah.
guilty pleasure, and I love it.
This was sort of our other choice as well for this month, but you knew I like Scott Bakula, so this sort of became like my best chance to finally watch Lord of Illusions. So I do want to watch Virtuosity though, so I don't want to need an excuse. I think I was more likely to watch that on my own.
But then that takes us to Poster Boy.
Oh, get ready for some nightmare fuel.
The movie itself is nightmare fuel.
Oh.
Do you know this?
I think I do.
Ah, damn, see?
I didn't think you would know what it is.
This is when he
Well,
starts
you
knowing
don't know
movies.
me very well.
This
So
movie
anyway,
tanked.
it's so there's a purple and blue background, and the faces are blurred, but it's clearly two different people next to each other. One of whom is a woman in a strapless red gown leaning up against a dude, presumably in a blue lab coat, holding a purple beaker of some kind. So there's a sciency aspect to all of this,
See?
as you do in the 90s. So yeah, this is something presumably an adaptation of a Robert Louis Stevenson story
There you go. Yeah.
with
Okay.
horrible
Before we go into
side
this,
effects.
I want to see if you can get this right away. What would you call this?
Like if I didn't know the actual title,
What is the actual title? I think you
it's
know it.
Dr. Jekyll and Ms. Hyde.
Yeah, okay.
How does
So
that
I can't go into everything I was going to do, but I can pretend that you don't know and you could get bonus points this way. I'll show you a little bit more of what I was going to do. There you go. Up, 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 up. Oh no.
Whoa. Oh God.
Yeah.
That's actually worse.
Uh-huh.
By unblurring the faces, you see all of the weird like anamorphs transitions between. It's
Yes,
very
you do.
it's very the
Yes, you
Mask,
do. I was going to see if this helped.
making it like an anamorphs.
That's literally Rachel turning into a cat
Yeah,
on the cover of like book 12 or whatever.
that's great.
Does this help? That's character actor Jonathan Hyde, in case you didn't know the movie,
Yes.
changing into the hunter from Jumanji. So yeah, do you know those two actors? Because that could be bonus points. That's the next thing I reveal.
That I don't. I don't
Can
know
you
the
tell based on you can see their faces now, so I don't know
Yes,
that you
I
know
can see
them.
their faces, but I can't for the life of me. I don't.
So who would you cast in this role? That's a chance to get bonus points. Because it's clear that Dr. Jekyll turns into Miss Hyde, and we'll go into a different aspect of it after you dreamcast.
I don't know. I mean, I think it kind of I feel like this probably would have been a sicker version of Mrs. Doubtfire if, you have Robin Williams
Well,
as
Harvey Firestein is in this.
right.
Yeah.
But it's just Robin Williams turning into Robin Williams in drag, and that's
Might have been
not
better.
turning into a separate actress.
Might have been better. Might have gotten a bigger budget.
Right.
Speaking of time limits and money caps.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who I would. It seems like whatever cast they had was fine. I don't know who these two people are.
Yeah,
I
okay.
know I
So
recognize the woman a little. Yeah, no, I would not.
Sean Young from the Batman film
Should have been. Well, she was supposed to be in both of them.
originally.
Yeah.
Sean Young and Tim Daly.
Speaking of Blade Runner and speaking of sitcom actors, I actually started thinking about this because I watched the movie last night. I was wondering if Tim Daly could have done a better Harry D'Amour and Scott Bakula could have done a better Robert Jackal.
No,
No.
I don't want to see him in lingerie.
Yeah. They're very similar actors, I gotta say.
You think so?
Um,
Tim Daly's a little more animated because he was on a comedy series, but
True, instead of a drama, yeah.
right.
Okay, so Jeff, imagine
Should've been
you
Stephen
don't know the film. You've been presented with this
See,
poster.
here's the
You need to
thing, I
come
don't
up with a title and a catchphrase or a slogan.
My own first date.
Dating myself.
The cure for male loneliness is right in this bottle.
Isn't too far away.
No. See, here's the thing. I know what the movie is because I saw this box a billion times at Blockbuster, but I've never
No one
seen
rented
the
it.
movie.
Well, I finally did last night.
Oh boy.
So here's the first catchphrase. I liked yours. It's
Comedy,
fine.
a comedy about an experiment that got way out of control.
Why is the emphasis on way out?
Because it's wacky. Or they had two catchphrases. This gives it away, but
Helen Hyde wants the doctor's body. She just doesn't want him in it at the same time.
That's also inaccurate to the movie.
kind of, well, she wants to control his body. She wants to be Helen Hyde permanently. That's the
Yeah.
plot. It might have been better if there was sort of a romance along Jeff's lines. Maybe he falls in love with himself.
Right.
I mean,
I thought it was like a
I mean,
real
look at Sean
narcissist
Young
movie.
is hot in this.
yeah. And she seduces his coworker, which is
Even the
weird.
gay one.
Harvey Firestein falls for her.
Oh my God. Who gives the most embarrassing performance in the movie? That's a good question.
Stephen Tobolowsky's got to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, you're right. It's Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. This is a better poster.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like the expression he's making.
Yeah. And even the catchphrase at the bottom is better. Something stirring in his
Something's
jeans.
oh
It's a
boy.
regular Sydney Sweeney jeans
A
ad.
sex comedy. Kind of.
4.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. He's a scientist creating perfumes.
that's right.
Yeah.
Where it's
And they already had Love Potion #9 with Sandra Bullock come out like 6 years earlier.
Right.
He even mentions like we've been looking for Love Potion #9, but we're never going to find it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And he gets an inheritance from a great uncle who turns out to have been related to Robert Louis Stevenson somehow. He's like an old friend of his. And he finds a book with all he gets. All his cousins get money and houses. He gets one science notebook, and it has a picture of obviously a Hyde, and it's his like great great uncle or something that was clearly the inspiration for Jekyll and Hyde to the real Robert Louis Stevenson. And so then he's tinkering around and he figures out how to make himself a woman. There's one of the most frightening shots I've ever seen. He goes out to lunch with a prospective client after he's already injected himself with a serum, and they have a POV shot of his crotch, and you watch his dick slide into his body and
Jesus
in his
Christ.
pants, and it's what are we doing here? And then
It's
he
the
like
90s.
the waiter like pours coffee on him accidentally, and he's like, "Here, let me fix that." And at the same time, his breasts grow, and he has to run out of the restaurant and run back to his office to figure out what's going on. It's the
Yeah.
most
Horrifying.
ill-conceived way to present the
Gross.
transformation into a woman. I don't know if this could be done today as like a trans allegory in some way, but I started thinking about how it could be improved, of course. I don't know that it could. I don't think that we should.
How could it be
Uh,
improved? Perhaps with a flamethrower.
yeah, this is almost veering on like so good it's so bad it's good, but there's
I
a scene where Sean Young decides to shower in the lab's shower, and Jeremy Piven comes in and just gawks at her. It's so
Well,
uncomfortable.
knowing Jeremy
I
Piven,
mean, that's just Jeremy
that might be a
Piven.
real thing.
She eventually seduces Stephen Tobolowsky, who's like another person at
That's
the.
another horrifying shot in the movie.
Oh yeah, so she starts taking off her shirt for him, and as soon as she reveals her breasts, they sink back into her chest. And there's like a Stephen Tobolowsky reaction shot, like where'd you go? Yeah.
The
But
things we play for
what's the
comedy.
line that he says to her? She runs to the bathroom to like because she's starting to turn back to Tim Daly.
Oh, you want
Um,
me to do this line?
yeah.
Mr. Monkey wants to play.
He's like trying to peer in through the lock in his own bathroom. It's
See, you know what
uncomfortable.
would have been, an even crazier version of this movie?
If Robin Williams was both.
No, well, no, actually, now that I'm thinking about it more, now that I know who was, Tim Daly turns into Tyne Daly.
Oh no. Yeah, you're
Way
proud of
better movie.
yourself, aren't you? Sean Young is actually decent in the film. It's
No,
just
it's not her fault. The movie
such an
sucked.
uncomfortable film. And Tim Daly's doing his best
Well,
with like the most misogynistic jokes.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's the 90s.
this
I think Steven Weber might have been better.
for sure. He could have handled the weird pratfall comedy in this. Tim Daly's
Wait a
more of a
minute.
straight man. That's why I think he would have been a good PI in something.
Hmm.
He might not necessarily have been better than Scott Bakula in this either, but Scott Bakula could have easily handled this, I
Right.
think. So I think Tim Daly's got a narrower path to his skills.
Mhm.
As much as I love all of these guys, but boy, this is a film I'd always wanted to see because I saw the cover. I'm like, oh, Tim Daly in a crazy comedy. I love Wings.
I always
Well,
wanted to
like,
watch it because I was such a huge fan of like Jekyll and Hyde, the
sure,
story and all that. And I'm like, this seems like a fun romp in that direction.
no, it's one of the worst films I've ever seen.
No, you can't. Nah, that's a bold statement.
It's not good.
Well,
Well,
on that note,
who's pick of the month?
Oh yeah, so we were trying to go back and forth on what this is. Scott Bakula hasn't been in much. We talked about all his TV roles, so we were
Right.
thinking like supernatural horror. That's too broad, so we figured out Famke Janssen is probably the most prolific actor from this cast, so especially from which we could pick. So we're going with her. Before I threw that letter out that I mentioned earlier, I had noticed that there was a phoenix that rose up from the letter. And so I'm guessing he would say X-Men: The Last Stand because that was one of our personal favorite screenings that we went to. We had a good time with that, even if it wasn't a good film.
I got my pick ready.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing: are we all allowed to pick different X-Men movies, or is it just only one of us can pick an X-Men movie?
I was giving it to
Okay,
Jimmy because
fine.
he legitimately probably would have picked the first X-Men, but I am fond of the memories we had for The Last Stand. So, but yeah, do you want to just pick another X-Men?
No, you guys could do your thing. I'll get there. I'm still looking through the list.
I gotta look myself. So if you want to go ahead,
Boop,
Yeah.
boop,
Cory.
boop, boop.
Mine is actually a reunion between her and Kevin J. O'Connor.
Oh yeah,
Creature feature called Deep Rising.
I noticed that they were both in that later. Kevin J. O'Connor becomes sort of a regular for Stephen Summers because he
Yeah,
does The Mummy. He's in Deep Rising. Is he in Van Helsing or anything else?
probably.
Because he ends up in a couple of Paul Thomas Anderson. Look at the Kevin J. O'Connor's career. He's in Stephen Summers films, but he's also in Paul Thomas Anderson films.
I know. He's got
Incredible.
you're good for him.
Yeah, credible range.
Oh, he's also in G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, which is
There you go.
Steven.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, Deep
He's
Rising
in
is a good choice. I see a film that I think Jeff should pick,
Oh,
but I don't know if he will.
the whackness.
No, actually, that is an appropriate choice for you.
That's a good movie.
I just saw Celebrity. I don't even remember her being in it. Is she like the lead woman that Kenneth Branagh is into?
Yeah.
Okay, she was good in that. I just didn't realize that was her. I think it's a little easy to say Goldeneye. I like that a lot.
You remember that?
I'm gonna see if there's like a deep cut that I like.
She was on Star Trek: The Next Generation playing someone named Kamala.
Yeah, she actually was
Kamala
supposed to
Harris.
be, she was offered the role of Jadzia Dax that was going to be in the new Star Trek show Deep Space Nine after she did that guest role. And she turned it down to do stuff like Goldeneye. So, and this. But she, her whole career could have been different. She would have been on that TV show. She might not have been in a lot of other things because I forget the actress's name right off the top of my head, but she's been more in TV.
This is one I'm surprised you haven't picked.
Which one?
Rounders.
Oh,
That's
wait,
the one that I want Jeff to pick. I've never seen Rounders.
I forgot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wanted to see it with a friend that lent me Brothers McMullen because he was a big poker fan and I never got around to it and then
I
he moved
did
to
like.
LA.
I did like
So
Rounders.
so I've been meaning to watch Rounders with you, Jeff, because I know you like Rounders.
Yes.
So we should do that before
Pay
98.
that man his money.
We have 3 more years to watch it, but I guess I'll go with Goldeneye.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like her in The Faculty, but she's not a huge part.
She is.
She's one of the main teachers, right?
Like the one that's being flirtatious with Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, no, I really do like she's one of my favorite Bond girls. So, because she's villainous, she knows it, she never hides it.
On the top?
Yeah, she's like right off the bat, but she's like in it for her own pleasure more than like whatever villainy Sean Bean wants. I think it's one of the best Bond characters. So,
Yeah.
I'll go Goldeneye.
I mean, yeah, she was in Rounders, but like very minor.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She's the fifth listed person.
Let's see. Fine, we'll go with Rounders.
If you want to go with the Whackness, that's more of an appropriate Jeff choice.
Wagner's really good.
She's good in the Whackness too.
Yeah.
All of her films are excellent.
Wait, Dracula now?
Yeah, what is she? Well, she is from.
She's
Yeah, the
Dutch.
Whackness.
You're gonna go with the Whackness for sure.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think those are all good choices. After all, I'm saying we were scraping the bottom of the barrel for who to go with because it was sort of narrow what we were gonna choose for Famke Janssen. This was kind of a cult classic with people that don't have huge careers. So
Well, yeah, we put it on hard mode though by not picking an X-Men movie.
right,
She was great in all of those, but she played the same character in all 14 of them.
right.
Is she coming back for Doomsday? I think.
Probably.
I heard so. I know Marston is. He just posted that he's grateful. Yeah, well, he needs a job. So.
He should be grateful after he endorsed somebody that I should have been endorsed.
Okay. Uh Next month we're actually going to go into something we wanted to cover him at some point in the 90s. This director auteur because he's fairly prolific and this was the decade where he really started to come to the forefront, hit mainstream and really be elevated to the status of a Spielberg of a Scorsese. So, you don't think so?
I think he's overrated, but we can go with it.
Well, people can say that about anybody. Spike Lee's Clockers came out this month, and I think it's one of his more underseen films. I am looking forward to seeing it because I don't know anything about it, and I've wanted to see a lot of Spike Lee's films. I know you just said he's overrated, but I think that depends on the film. I think some are put on a pedestal and some are underseen. So somewhere he meets in the middle, and I think he's a very good auteur. I think he has had a decent career that people both underrate and overrate, but we can get into that next month.
Nice.
I think that'll be an easy picks of the month for sure. It's gonna be Spike.
We'll see.
All right. Thanks for looking into the Lord of Illusions. Now you see me. Now you. I know what you did.
Again, drugs.
That's the real Epstein Island.
Is